What's going on, guys? We are giving away this 64 Corvette, as you know, and you have the chance to own a timeless piece of American muscle car history, complete with tons of modern upgrades and improvements. But owning a car like this comes with an important history to understand. Do you think you know the legends behind the longest running nameplate in American automotive history? Well, to understand what was happening to the Corvette in the early 60s, we must first go back to World War II. See, young Americans who fought and destroyed fascism in Europe saw cars that they had never seen before during their time abroad. They were seeing small, compact, sporty coupes and roadsters with only 2 seats. See, these vehicles were nothing like the big, bulky, long and wide American cars rolling out of the factories at the time. They had independent 4-wheel suspensions, high compression ratios, fuel injection, self-adjusting brakes, and a lot more. In the late 40s and early 50s, road racing had also graced the international stage, and the baby boomer generation saw the action and they wanted to get their hands on some cool European style, but they had no offerings of the sort at home in the States. So General Motors gave designers and engineers free rein to design a competitive, fast 2-seater Chevy, which would be the C1 Corvettes.
America's only true sports car.
Invented by GM styling head Harley Earl. Those were first sold in 1953, but they were incredibly slow, powered by wimpy 6-cylinder engines and automatic power glide transmissions, which was the only powertrain option for the first 2 years of production. Critical reception to the first Corvettes were negative due to its unbearable slowness, poor fiberglass body quality, prone to water leaks, and doors that would open during driving. But all that changed when Zora Arkus-Duntov was hired to GM and started working up the ladder. Zora, a Belgian-born European engineer, knew that the Corvette was missing the speed that European sports cars were offering, like Ferraris and Porsches. Zora made it into GM's engineering department and was responsible for getting GM's new 265 cubic inch V8 engine into the Corvette, as well as mating it to a 3-speed manual transmission. This gave the Vette a significant power boost, now making 195 horsepower, and made it a much more enjoyable and sportier car to drive. Zora also improved how the Corvette was marketed to consumers. Not long after, sales started to skyrocket for the faster and louder Corvette. Cue the Corvette sounds. In 1956, Zora solidified his position as a GM heavyweight by becoming the director of high-performance vehicle design and development for Chevrolet. This one earned him the nickname the father of the Corvette, although that title of inventing the car still goes to good old Harley Earl. For decades, Zora tried to leverage his position in Chevrolet to get a mid-engine Corvette produced, but prototype after prototype, GM shot down his ideas for more practical pursuits. It wasn't until decades after Zora's passing that his dream finally came true with the C8 Corvette. Zora worked hard within the confines of GM's wishes and continued to make the front-engine Corvette the ultimate sports car. In 1962, the C2 Corvette got more aerodynamic styling, bigger V8 engines, better transmission options, improved suspension components, and better brakes. Once the designs for the convertible and sports coupe were established, components built and tested, the pre-production prototypes were constructed. See, the building process was all by hand. Construction started with a 1-piece underbody, then a steel birdcage was laid on top. Fiberglass cloth is cut and molded with resin. Then the hardened fiberglass pieces are bonded together and the entire rear piece is fitted and bonded to the birdcage. This provided increased torsional rigidity and stiffness. This marriage of steel and fiberglass results in stronger body overall, reducing body roll and flexing. Door openings wrap into the roof panel for easy access into the cabin. The 327 cubic inch V8 engine, the transmission, the interior, the suspension, the brakes, the steering components, the wheels, the tires, and all the nuts and bolts are added to the car. The prototypes were then tested at the GM Proving Grounds by the research and development engineers. Zora was there and in charge of the testing day. Professional drivers and engineers Dr. Dick Thomas and Dave McDonald got behind the wheel of 2 Vettes, a coupe and a convertible. Thomas said that the car drove and handled like a true dream car. The famous 1963 Corvettes were the only ones ever sold with a split rear window design. But in 1964, the year that this Corvette was made, that design was scrapped due to safety concerns. And as you can see, a full back window became the standard for every Corvette since that time and all the way into the present. This Corvette has undergone a huge amount of upgrades since then, and you can check out that build sheet video right here. Well, that's the history on the early C2 Corvettes. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel. If you want your chance to own your very own 1964 C2 Corvette, this one, go to RestoMods.com, join the RestoMods car club and get entered, buy some merchandise in our store, and you could be the one telling other people about the history of the Corvette.